Okay, here we are, Hell in a Cell 2017. Yeah, it's late at night and I'm having to record this, so you're going to have to deal with kind of a low volume. Uh, this was a 3.5 hour long show, by the way. Anyway, let's get right to this. The kickoff show match is the Hype Bros versus uh, American Alpha 2, I guess you could call them, Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable. What I noticed right away is some guy in the crowd immediately started holding up a "We Want TV 14" sign, which was just weird. Uh, it's not coming back, guys. Sorry, but you know what? Move on. There's nothing wrong with maturing. Anyway, Gable and Mojo started off. Mojo hit a big crossbody on Gable and tagged in Ryder. Shelton Benjamin tagged in, hit a big spine buster on Ryder, and then tossed him right out of the ring. Shelton hit a big forearm in the corner. Ryder countered a superplex with a missile dropkick. Mojo tagged in and hit Gable with a tilt-a-whirl slam for a 2 count. Gable came in and hit a moonsault for a 2 count. Shelton tagged in and countered the Hype Rider into a flatliner for a 2 count. And then American Alpha hit kind of a flying lariat. It's tough to say. Basically, Shelton picked Mojo up, Ryder up for a belly-to-back suplex, and then Gable came off the top rope and hit him with a clothesline maneuver. Got the 3 count and the victory. So Gable and Benjamin win. No heel turn for the Hype Bros, no breakup, which is the big rumor going into this. So I guess they're waiting to pull the trigger on that. Also, there was one other thing that happened during the kickoff show, but I'll address that when we get to it. Okay, our next match is our first of the Hell in a Cell matches. It is the Hell in a Cell match for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championships. New Day versus the Usos. The New Day in this case consisting of Xavier and Big E. This is a tornado tag, so there's not any tagging going on in the tag match, which, yeah, all 4 men are in the ring at the same time. Both teams began pulling out weapons from under the ring. The Usos grab, I think it were chains, and the New Day grab a multicolored kendo stick, several multicolored trombones, and one other thing when we get to it. Big E tried to spear Jey Uso off the ring apron, but Jey dodged, causing Big E to fly into the cell wall. Big E did manage to spear Jimmy into the cell wall. Xavier then hit Jimmy with multiple trombone shots. New Day went for the midnight hour, but Jey came in and leveled Xavier with a chair. Eventually, Big E grabbed a cowbell, which has, of course, led to multiple jokes about needing more cowbell, having the fever. The only cure is more cowbell. The Usos began beating down Big E with a variety of kendo sticks. The New Day hit a Uranagi Codebreaker on Jimmy while he was standing on the ring apron. Xavier was outside the ring, and they caught him right there. Let's see, New Day hit the midnight hour and get a 2 count. Jey broke the pin. The New Day grabbed Jey and basically pinned him to the corner of the cell with the kendo sticks. They stuck the kendo sticks kind of bridging in between the chain links. At this point, Jimmy fought back and speared Big E into the cell. Jey eventually broke free and broke up an attempted double stomp on the ring steps. The Usos handcuffed Big E to the ropes and then handcuffed Xavier over the ring post, so Xavier's arms are up like this, and they just start smacking him and smacking him and smacking him with kendo sticks over and over again. But Xavier doesn't give up. Eventually, Big E breaks free and slams the Usos into the cell wall. The Usos come back and hit their splash bomb and get a 2 count because Xavier broke up the pin. Xavier tries his best to fight off, but the Usos grab more kendo sticks and beat him again, and then they put a chair on Xavier and hit the big Uso splash for the 3 count and the victory. The now 5-time tag team champions are the Usos. And it was a pretty big start to the show, a really high impact, high quality match. It's a shame that they're probably not going to have any more matches after this. I obviously I think they need some fresh meat now for the tag team division. I don't know what they're going to do exactly, but this has been the final chapter in a pretty remarkable feud. Okay, our third match of the evening is Rusev versus Randy Orton. Right off the bat, Orton went for a quick RKO. Rusev blocked it. Orton hit an STO. Rusev crashed into Orton, knocking him off the ring apron into the ring barricade. Orton then got slammed in a fallaway slam onto the ring barricade. Orton back suplexes Rusev onto the ring barricade. We had the return of the TV-14 sign. Rusev fakes, basically tries to goad Randy into the power slam, but he grabs the ring ropes. It's the rebound power slam that Orton likes. He whips the guy into the ropes, and he hits the big power slam. Eventually, Orton does hit the big power slam and then hits the Hangman DDT. Rusev tries a frog splash from the second rope, but Orton rolled away. Orton began to go for his RKO move where he whips down, he starts stalking him like this viper, and as he's pounding the mat, Rusev kind of springs up, grabs Orton's hands and starts pulling him, trying to pull him into the Accolade. Orton manages to just barely fight out of that and hit the RKO for the victory, for the 3 count and the victory. Really ho-hum match, except for the ending. I mean, the ending was rather inventive. Probably the most inventive RKO since, I want to say, probably WrestleMania 31 when he countered the curb stomp into the RKO. So, yeah. Okay, now here is where we get the weird wrinkle. Originally, this was going to be the match for the United States Championship between Baron Corbin and AJ Styles. However, that wasn't the case, as during the kickoff show, Tye Dillinger went to Daniel Bryan and lobbied on the fact that he had beaten Corbin earlier on SmackDown, and because of that, he now also deserved to be in the title picture. So Daniel Bryan decided to make it a triple threat match instead. So yes, it is now the United States Championship triple threat match between AJ Styles, Baron Corbin, and Tye Dillinger. Styles and Dillinger start to go after Corbin, but he just kind of rolls out of the ring. Corbin eventually got back into the ring. Dillinger had him in the corner for the 10-punch count, but Corbin countered that and crotched Dillinger on the ring ropes. Corbin tossed AJ ribs first into the ring post. Corbin countered a springboard by AJ with a punch. Styles hit a flying knee on Corbin. Dillinger hit kind of a swinging knee buster on AJ. Styles locked in the calf crusher, and at this point, Dillinger's kind of close to the ropes. Corbin was on the outside of the ring, grabs Dillinger and pulls him out of the ring. Styles hit a Pele kick onto Dillinger, who then fell back into a pinning predicament on Corbin for a 2 count. Styles hit a 450 for a 2 count. Styles hits the phenomenal forearm on Dillinger. At this point, Baron Corbin immediately slides into the ring, kicks AJ into the ring ropes. He kicks him twice, actually, kicks him out of the ring, and covers Dillinger for the 3 count and the victory. Your new United States champion is Baron Corbin. Kind of thought this was probably going to happen when they changed it to being a triple threat match. This way AJ loses the belt without losing face. Corbin had been in the doghouse recently. I guess maybe that's not the case anymore. I mean, they slapped a belt on him. Don't know how long it's going to last. Hopefully it's not just going to be a quick hop over. I'd like to see him at least get a month out of it. As for the match itself, it had a lot of dead spots and really not enough fighting between all 3 guys. I mean, there were parts where it was just Dillinger outside of the ring, then AJ was outside of the ring, and then Corbin was sitting outside the ring. It just kind of felt boring. Okay, our next match is the SmackDown Women's Championship match, Natalya versus Charlotte. Right off the bat, Charlotte went for a quick roll-up. Natalya countered another roll-up attempt by stomping on Charlotte's leg. Natalya continued attacking Charlotte's leg, putting a lot of ankle holds and ankle lock type moves, tweaking the knees, tweaking the ankles, stomping on them. Natalya hit a discus clothesline. Charlotte began fighting back and landing a series of chops. Natalya hit a sit-down powerbomb, pulling Charlotte off the top rope for a 2 count. Charlotte continues. They countered a discus clothesline with the big boot. Natalya sent Charlotte into the ring steps. Natalya locked on the sharpshooter. Charlotte managed to fight out and sent Natalya into the bottom turnbuckle head first. At that point, they started brawling on the outside of the ring. Charlotte went up and hit a big suicide moonsault. As the two were lying there, Natalya gets up, Charlotte gets up, and Natalya works her way over to the announce table and grabs a steel chair and hits Charlotte in the stomach and gets the DQ loss, so she retains the belt. This match I thought was kind of building to something, and then the DQ finish kind of pooped it at the end. So again, overall kind of an average match. Okay, and it's at this point we have the return of the Fashion Files. Are we finally going to get a payoff as to who had been harassing Breezango? Not really, no. There's just a joke about they saved case 2B, and then the Ascension show up and ask if they could be... they give a tube, a 2B, basically containing a poster, asking if they could be friends with Breezango, and they said no. And then it just ended. Oh, and wait, then they got another briefcase which had something which would lead to their next case, and that's how it ended. Yeah, no payoff again. Yeah, it was funny at first. It's really starting to wear itself out. Actually, I think it wore itself out a while ago when they faked the payoff. Yeah. Okay, our next match, now match proper, is the WWE Championship Match. Jinder Mahal versus Nakamura Shinsuke. Nakamura countered out of an arm wringer and into an armbar attempt. Mahal lured Nakamura on the outside of the ring and then tossed her into the ring post. Nakamura came back and landed a big spin kick. Nakamura landed a single leg drop kick. Nakamura missed, tried to go for a knee drop on the ring apron, but Mahal managed to just roll out of the way, and basically Nakamura completely missed the ring apron, just landed straight on the floor. That would hurt. Nakamura fought out of a Colossus tip and hit a flying knee. At this point, the Singh brothers start to interfere. Nakamura went for a quick roll-up a couple of times. Eventually, the ref kicked the Singh brothers out. As this happened, Nakamura hit a Kinshasa and covered Mahal, but Mahal was just close enough to the rope so he was able to get his hand up and get a rope break. Nakamura went for another Kinshasa, but Mahal managed to just dodge it. Nakamura hit the turnbuckle instead, and then Mahal hit the Colossus for the 3 count and the victory. Compared to the last couple of matches, this was really pretty good. Better than the SummerSlam match. I think it had a better ending. Still kind of disappointed Nakamura didn't win the belt. I mean, yeah, again, I think it's a pretty good case that the Jinder Mahal thing just has not worked. I mean, I give them credit for trying something different, but I'm kind of ready to end this. But like I said, this was a better match than I had expected. Okay, so our next match is Dolph Ziggler versus Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode comes out to his usual glorious thing, and they were kind of hinting that Ziggler had this big entrance plan, this big elaborate thing he was going to do, and it looked like, oh, he's probably just going to mock Bobby Roode and do the glorious entrance on his own, but nope. Dolph Ziggler's theme, the "Here to show the world, here to steal the show," starts up, then it immediately cuts off, and it just goes black. And then Ziggler comes out. And comes out basically to silence. It's actually pretty inventive. I kind of like that. You know what? My big elaborate stunt is that it's not a big elaborate stunt. Anyway, early on, Roode fell out of a headlock and hit a big waistlock takedown. Roode hit a big lariat out of the corner. Ziggler hit a big drop kick. Ziggler hit the Rude Awakening neckbreaker for a 2 count. This match kind of went on way too long for what it was supposed to be. Roode dodged a Ziggler attempt and hit the ring post. Roode tried to go for the glorious DDT, but it didn't work. Roode hit a spine buster and it didn't work. Ziggler hit a Famouser. At this point they started fighting again. Roode went for the glorious DDT. Ziggler fought out of it, was trying to use the tights for leverage and a roll up, but Rude fought out of that into a roll-up and used the tights for leverage instead for the 3 count and the victory. Bobby Roode wins, but immediately after the bell ring, Ziggler gets up and hits the zigzag on Rude and just leaves the ring. Yeah, this was really boring. It was not a good pay. Again, if you're trying to build up Bobby Roode, you need to have him kind of win a bit better than this. If you're trying to build up Ziggler, I get that you maybe want him to not, be jobbed out so quickly, but this match went on way too long, and for the position it was in, it just didn't feel right. This should have been earlier in the show. I probably would have switched this with the Fashion Files segment, which was still pretty bad, but at least that was a little more palatable than this was. This was just boring. And it's now that we've hit our main event for the evening. The Hell in a Cell match between Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon. Immediately as Owens is making... Shane comes out first. Owens is making his entrance. Owens is acting a little hesitant to enter the cell. As he starts to walk through the door, Shane slides out and drop kicks Owens outside of the cell. The two begin brawling around a bit. Shane, eventually, Owens tried to actually go into the cell and use the door as a bit of a block, but then Shane just drop kicked the door into Owens' face. Owens then fought back and threw Shane into the ring steps. Shane countered a top rope senton from Owens. Shane hit a floor of DDT, went for a shooting star press on the top rope, but Owens dodged that. At this point, Owens got a cannonball. Wait just a sec here, let me... Owens went for a power bomb, my mistake. Owens went for a power bomb. Shane countered that into a triangle choke. They managed to get to the outside of the ring. Shane locked on another triangle choke, but Owens took that and power bombed Shane into the ring steps. Owens then got a table out from under the ring, set it up in the corner, tried to do a cannonball onto Shane, but Shane dodged that at the last second. Shane then hit the Van Terminator and covered Owens, but Owens got to the ropes, which really shouldn't matter in a Falls Count Anywhere match because there's no rope break. But they try to chalk it up to the ref being caught up in the heat of the moment and making a mistake. At this point, Shane started to demand that the cell door be open. The ref refused. So Shane looked under the ring, grabbed a pair of bolt cutters, cut the lock off the cell. At this point, Owens started to rise back up, so they start fighting on the outside of the cell again. Owens hit a DDT on the ramp, and then he crotched Shane on the cell door. Excuse me. The two began fighting over towards the announcer's area. Owens headbutts Shane and falls back onto one of the announce tables. Owens then starts climbing the cell wall. He climbs all the way to the top of the cell. He's going to do this big move, maybe a frog splash, maybe a senton. But then he stops and he starts kind of hesitating. He's like, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. And Shane starts climbing the cell wall on his own. And the two start fighting on top of the cell. Shane hit a Russian leg sweep. Shane blocked a powerbomb into a back body drop. Owens hit a pop-up powerbomb on top of the cell. Thankfully, at no point in this juncture, the cell gave way, because unfortunately, where they were standing, if that cell had given way, someone would have hit the ropes instead of falling straight into the ring, which would have just been... You either hit the ropes or maybe you hit the ring post, and that wouldn't have been pretty. Eventually, the two kind of start climbing down. Shane slams Owens' head off of the side of the cell. Owens falls back through one of the announce tables. At this point, Owens is being checked by the EMTs. Shane starts trying to move to pin him, changes his mind, grabs Owens, sets him up on another announce table, starts climbing to the top of the cell. Shane goes for his elbow drop, and I initially wrote that Owens dodged it. I did not fully see what happened because it happened so quickly, but Owens gets out of the way mysteriously, and Shane just goes crashing through the cell door. Well, it turns out someone had popped up at the last second and pulled Kevin Owens off of the table. And who was this person? Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn pulled Kevin Owens off of the table, allowing Shane to cause Shane to fall through completely. At this point, Zayn then dragged Owens over on top of Shane for the 3 count and the victory. Steen and Generico have reunited. This is really interesting. Admittedly, I thought the match was going to get a little. It started to get a little boring because unfortunately they ran into the problem of, oh, you have to try to eventually get outside, and there was enough high spots. I thought, if you just ended the match now, it would be okay. But you kept fighting on the outside. They managed to redeem himself obviously towards the end, but again, when you have the semi-conscious individual being dragged around, there's not much excitement to that. But I think again, because of the ending, because of everything that happened on the outside, and because of the start of the match, I think that more than made up for this. Really did kind of help save this pay-per-view, because the whole thing, I mean, you had the match at the beginning, the Hell in a Cell match, that was great, and then you had a bunch of kind of, slightly above average to really below average stuff, and two not very good things. And then you had this one, which really, I think, helped rescue the whole show. So I'm going to give this one a B. And that's just because of the two Hell in a Cell matches. That's one thing that really, really bolstered this thing up. This would have easily been a C or possibly even a D. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to try to see, the next video was going to be probably the My Little Pony review. I'm going to try to see that on Tuesday. So, like I said, they'll be up either late Tuesday or early Wednesday. See you all then. Hey guys, tired of me constantly talking only about WWE and NXT? Want to see me cover something like Ring of Honor or New Japan or anything else? Go to my Patreon page and see how you can help make that happen. Links in the description.